right, well, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to everyone. Welcome to the art of work-life balance. I'm really happy that you decided to join me here today and take the first step in achieving a better work-life balance. I know sometimes that it seems like it can be impossible, but hopefully by the end of our short time together, you're going to recognize that there are some simple steps you can take in order to prioritize things that matter the most to you and make your life feel more fulfilling overall. 1 second, I'm admitting one more person. Okay. Okay, so first things first, you knew I would start here. That thing that's in your pocket, or it's probably on the table next to you, or maybe it's just charging a few feet away from you. I'm guessing you've got one. About 77% of Americans do. Those smart devices, yeah, they can be really fantastic tools. You've got the answer to almost any question at your fingertips. You can reach anyone at any time, anywhere in the world. And best of all, your phone acts like a million tools in one, thanks to all those smart apps that we have. But unfortunately, our technology makes us more accessible to our employers and our employees alike around the clock. And because most of us are glued to our phones anyway, mine's right here, just full disclosure, it can be difficult to draw boundaries between your work life and your personal life. The compounding stress from these never-ending days, well, it really is hurting us. It's hurting our relationship with loved ones and our health. It's most definitely affecting our overall happiness. You've probably joined us here today because you feel that maybe you've been spending, well, too much time consumed in your work and not enough time doing things that are really important to you. Studies have shown that stress at work can be just as dangerous as secondhand smoke, and that high job demands increase the odds of having a doctor-diagnosed illness by 35%. Research has also shown us that long work hours increase the chances of early death by up to 20%. And over the long term, overworking can lead to anxiety, depression, high blood pressure, insomnia for some, and a weakened immune system. So really compromising your health it's really not worth it for any job out there. So when you were in school, your whole life revolved around getting homework done and projects completed, and it was easy to focus all of your attention on your work. If you're the type of person who spent a lot of time and energy focusing on school, these perfectionist habits likely followed you into adulthood. I know it did for me. Unfortunately, as we grow older, our responsibilities become broader. Instead of spending our free time studying for a test, we have to balance relationships and errands, and for some of us, even children. At this point, the idea of achieving perfection just becomes out of reach. And the first step to achieving work-life balance is really accepting that. So do you notice any similarities of your current work ethic and how you treated your education? Not that long ago, really not that long ago, it was a badge of honor to work a 7-day week, a 12-hour day. And thankfully, that work hard, play hard mentality is falling by the wayside as we as a society begin to realize the harm that has come with trying to have it all, if you will. I think our experience in the global pandemic with all the added stress, that it likely accelerated this letting go of that badge of honor. We're beginning to understand today that our personal wellness is important and that our mental health should take a priority. Achieving that level of wellness often means letting go of trying to be perfect in every aspect of your life and just shooting for your own personal meaning of excellent. So ask yourself, how do you define excellent for yourself? Okay, back to technology. A second step in achieving work-life balance is really learning when to unplug. For example, you might need to delete your work email off of your phone so that you're not tempted to respond during off hours. It's a great way to establish a clear boundary, of course. I was thinking, you probably want to give your colleagues a heads up if you're doing that. However, especially if you've been known as one that would respond during those off hours. You need to understand that there really are times when you just have to turn off the phone and enjoy the moment. You know what? Get rid of all those pesky notifications because they only interrupt your time off. And they actually send deeper signals to your psyche. They alert your mind of things that are unfinished. All of those unchecked notification, all of that actually sends stress hormones just coursing through your body. I regularly make it a habit to go in and check my notification settings to make sure I'm only getting the most important ones. I don't know how it happens. It seems to happen by accident or just all on its own, but I get signed up for notifications I didn't even know I was signed up for. So make it a habit to go in and check those. By not reacting to those notifications over and over again, you actually will develop stronger habits of resilience. And resilient people actually feel a greater sense of control over their lives just in general. I know this isn't everyone's favorite thing to hear, but as we all know, exercise is a great way to keep your mind and body in tip-top shape. When we're busy, we let things slip. We might skip a meal, maybe we don't get enough time for sleep, but it's really a huge problem. One thing that can really throw a wrench into this unhealthy cycle is to force you to eat and sleep is to get some exercise. So a couple of ideas: download an app, make some time, a few minutes, maybe yoga every day, maybe practice your plank like she is doing. Great form, by the way. Work your core. Do something that challenges you just enough so that you feel you completed something and you can feel good about it. I've been reading a lot. The trend now is to do a lot of the micro exercises throughout your day. So how do you squeeze exercise into your day? Share with us in the comments here. Okay, but the main goal is just to find something that you enjoy doing and that makes you feel good after you've done it. In other words, don't think of it as a chore. Okay, I know running isn't for everybody. I can't even run anymore since I broke my toe. And yoga certainly isn't everyone's cup of tea, even though my daughter keeps trying to get me to go with her. But, maybe you enjoyed playing basketball when you were a kid with your friends after school. That's a great way to keep in shape. Do some research, find a local league you can join, or even track down a local basketball court and just go practice shooting some hoops. We're almost always more active in our childhood. So think back to things that you enjoyed doing and find ways to reintroduce those into your life. More than acting as an effective stress reliever, exercise can serve as a means of sending you into a meditative state as well. So many great thinkers and doers section off times of their day for a few minutes of meditation. People like Oprah Winfrey, Rupert Murdoch, Bill Ford, Ariana Huffington. These are all people who list meditation as something that they work into their day. What it does is it reduces stress, and it's also a great way to take time to check in with ourselves and evaluate any pain or mental stress that we might subconsciously be tucking away because we're too busy to notice it or really even deal with it. So make time for some meditation. Okay, so how do you make time for that meditation? Well, a big step is just ensuring that your relationship with time is healthy, is first to identify what's important in your life and keep those things your top priority. From there, draw firm boundaries so that you can devote your time to these high priority people and activities. So if you want to take up meditation, and you realize that you have a game on your phone that you notice is always on, you're always on it, well, delete the game. Think about how you might be able to replace all those minutes with some quality time to check in with yourself. If you have a habit of spending hours at night watching television, but you wish you spent more time with your kids, think about starting a family game night or choosing specific evenings where you and your kids prepare a meal together. And if you're a sucker for online videos and you find yourself getting dragged into the vortex of cat videos at least once a week, try downloading a productivity app that reminds you to get back on track. So do you see the trend there? The most difficult part, I think, of work-life balance is really learning to say no. Saying no it's really key to cutting back on wasted time and making the most of the time that you do have. So if you find yourself engulfed in conversations with someone from work every day when you have work to do, politely just excuse yourself. If you have coworkers that, ask you out to drink when you're tired, you're allowed to say no and spend a quiet night in. Focus on things that are most rewarding to you. And often that means just putting yourself first. So if you're in the position to do so at your current job, why don't you sit down and set expectations with your boss and your coworkers? It is your right to negotiate because it's your time and your time is precious. So for many of us, saying no can be difficult, and it's for good reason. We want people to like us. It's really only human, and to feel that way, you're not alone. Even people who write and strategize for a living can have a difficult time typing out the word no, N-O, when we're being asked a favor by someone that we care about. But let me tell you right now, it's okay to say no. More importantly, you really should say no every once in a while, especially if you have other things that you need to tend to. And even if that other thing that you have to tend to is your own self-care. So I found this little template by strategist Alexandra Franzen. She writes for the Muse. It's pretty simple. It's just, hey, and you insert their name. Thanks for your notes. I'm so proud for you. I'm so proud of you for fill in the blank. And I'm flattered that you'd like to bring my brain into the mix. I need to say no because fill in the blank. But I'd love your support. I would love to support you in a different way. So offer some other support here in this part. Thank you for being such a wonderful fill in the blank, whatever it is that they are. I'm honored to be part of your world. And then offer a few closing words of encouragement and then sign your name. Pretty simple. So do you feel like your workday is normal? So first of all, let's put normal in an international context, as in, is it normal for humans to work this much? So in the United States, we rank number 30 out of 38 countries in work-life balance. So here's some stats from European countries with much higher rates of happiness, I might add, who we could take a few notes from. So in the Netherlands, they do a 4-day work week and they work 29 hours per week. I know when I read that, I thought, wow, that's amazing. Could I get all my work done in 29 hours? And I bet I could if I just stayed on task and stayed focused. They also get paid vacations, paid maternity and paternity leave, and they actually get the right to reduce their hours to part-time without losing their jobs. In Denmark, let's see, they get the choice of when to start their workday and whether to work from home. I'm hoping that a lot of US-based companies are going to get on board here too and start to offer that more regularly as things start to open back up. They also get in Denmark 5 weeks of paid vacation for all of their workers. France has a policy actually encouraging employees to disconnect from work email while they're off. And I know in some of the corporate cultures that I've done some work with, they've actually embedded this as part of their expectations. They actually decide when, who, and why that work email might be necessary and agree on it up front. And then also in France, they get 25 federally mandated vacation days a year. So I feel pretty good about that kind of normal. I don't know about you. So not only do employees benefit from better work-life balance, but employers actually benefit too. The numbers show that employers that prioritize work-life balance rake in more profit. So how do they do that? Sorry, lost my cursor. Here we go. All right. So when employees are overworked, they get burnt out and they get considerably less done in the workplace. In fact, studies have found that the stress and fatigue of burnout can actually lead to brains that look like they're asleep. Sleepwalking employees, that's probably not good for productivity. The corporate executive board that represents probably 80% of the Fortune 500 companies, they found after researching 500,000 global workers that employees who believe that they have a good work-life balance actually work 21% harder than those that don't. It's costly to replace workers because the company loses productivity when a worker leaves a job. And the inevitable learning curve of the next worker, well, that can make the company lose money as well. There was a 2019 study that found that more than 1 in 4 employees at an organization who perceived no support for work-life balance plan to leave their employer within the next 2 years. For workers who felt that their employer did support work-life balance, only 17% planned on leaving. And so now we're hearing at this time after the pandemic, it's actually being called the Great Quit or the Great Resignation. And they're speculating numbers upwards of 30 to 40% actually plan on leaving their organization. In that same 2019 study, 89% of HR professionals reported an increase in employee retention once they started implementing flexible work arrangement. So it's true proof of the importance of this vital balance. So I'm an employer. What can I do to encourage work-life balance? Well, I'm so happy you asked. Here's a list of things that you can do as an employer. You can offer flexible or alternative hours. If you can also offer, if they can start their day earlier and let them get their work done, let them do that. If they want to work 4 10-hour days and have Fridays off, give them that option. Allow them to work from home if appropriate. I know this is the big debate right now. You could offer more time off, especially when it comes to maternity and paternity leave, and understand that by supporting your employees, you're supporting your business. A couple of other things that actually lead to good mental well-being and health is providing some childcare or pet care options if possible. So, if employers will offer low-cost childcare options or at least help take away the stress of finding that childcare, the employee is really going to work harder for you, and they're probably going to be less likely to leave. And as for pets, we've enjoyed having our pets around us as we've worked from home, and as you've returned to the office, consider letting them bring them to the office to offer emotional support and lower the stress around the workplace. You have to work it out for your own company, but maybe that's a good thing. And especially now that we're all starting to come back together, you might start thinking about hosting company-sponsored family events like picnics or cookouts to show appreciation for the families and employees. I don't know, I'm sure that's not a comprehensive list. So what other suggestions would you add? Go ahead and share with us in the comments. I see, Anna, you're moving to the Netherlands. Love it. All right, so I'm in the market for a new job. What can I do? Well, your work-life planning, it actually begins before you accept your next job. At the job interview, you need to keep your ears open for the company's view on telecommuting, working from home, the work culture, the time flexibility, all of the things that we've just talked about. And really, if you get a chance to directly chat with some other employees, ask if the work culture is family friendly. Ask their daycare benefits. What happens if a parent has to request time off at the last minute for a family emergency, like caring for a sick child? Take the time to determine your real needs from your broadest perspective. Is your child your number one priority? Maybe it makes sense to take the lower paying job that's closer to your child's preschool, for example. Okay, if you're headed back to the office, you might consider bringing your children into the office when and if you can, and let them see your workplace. Let them see their photos and their artwork. Maybe you make an event of it in your workspace. This lets them know that they're on your mind and you think of them often, even when you're not physically in the same place. And this is really, especially if they've grown accustomed to having you at home this last year, this could be really meaningful for you and your child. It will not only make your child feel included, but it will also help with the integration of things that you enjoy into your work setting. Surrounding your work setting with things and people that you enjoy, it'll remind you of your priorities, and as well as the why behind why you do what you do, rather. Okay, so start small and build. New Year's resolutions are rarely achieved, and we all know this. It's why it happens. It's because we push ourselves too quickly. We get excited about things. So For this, I want you to make room for work-life balance by thinking carefully about what is actually achievable. Baby steps really are okay. You just need to keep it top of mind. So if you'd like to spend more time with your family, don't vow to be home every night. Just start out with once or twice a week, really just get some realistic and sustainable goals. Okay. I know work-life balance means something different to everyone. Perhaps the word balance really isn't right for you. Maybe you own your own business and you're flying solo and you're loving it. That's fantastic. In this case, maybe the phrase work-life harmony or work-life blend sounds more fluid and doable to you. I've even heard work-life integration as a phrase for some people. What is important for you is to practice self-care. Make time for your mental and physical health, because in the end, the highest thing that should be on your to-do list is you. Okay, I want to thank you all again for spending some of your time with me here today. I know you all want to learn how to prioritize the most important things in your life, and I hope that I've at least begun to convince you that you are one of those important things. I hope you'll feel a little more optimistic about the potential of work-life balance working for you. I can't wait for you all to forge ahead and just live your best lives. So to help you jumpstart, I'm launching a private work-life balance 2-week challenge group on Facebook. Please sign up and join in on our group and for ideas, discussions, and just more encouragement. So that's all for now. Thanks for joining me today. Good seeing you all here. Have a happy rest of your day.